Good afternoon on what is a grey, overcast but mild day. It is Thursday the 3rd of February. I'm back in the reading nook with some parcels and a nice hot cup of tea. And the next thing I'm going to pull out of this parcel is, well, I've looked at that and this. And the next thing is this, the Eubaik mystery by Christa, Sunderland, and it's for the Troubleshooters role-playing game. Now, the Troubleshooters role-playing game is a role-playing game which draws its inspiration, or is inspired by, the bande dessinée comics of France and Belgium, like Tintin, Mortimer and Blake, and so on. In its art style and its basically the setting and its feel. It's about adventures in the jet age of the 60s, with mysteries and ancient lost ruins and spies and things like that. And the thing is, if you were looking for a Tintin or Tintin role-playing game, I would really recommend the Troubleshooters. I've done an unboxing of it, and I've also done a full review of it. I'm going to do a review of this soon. Okay, so the U-boat mystery: a kidnapping, a map, a lost U-boat. There is something fishy going on in Paris, where the kidnapping of a journalist, Pierre Martin, seems to be connected to a marine expedition to the island kingdom of Sitmoyang, on the other side of the globe. Clues point to the mysterious organisation The Octopus, whose tentacles are everywhere. Only a band of intrepid troubleshooters can find out how all of this is connected and solve the U-boat mystery. The U-boat mystery is an adventure for 3 to 5 players. Okay, so there we go, nice, plain and simple. It's from Modiphius, and I can't remember the other publisher, but it is Swedish. So let's get inside it and have a look. So it's the great thing about Troubleshooters is it's very like a very positive kind of adventure role-playing game. It's it's set during the sort of 60s. It's inspired. The inspiration is sort of like from the ITC adventure serials of the period, like Persuaders, that sort of thing. Okay, well, open up, and this is what you've got. Now, you may recognise that kind of art style from sort of like inside the Tintin books, with the portraits. And this is the same as the core rulebook, where you've got these portraits of the core signature characters which they created for the game. And also, there is, you've got a link to the PDF there. Won't show you that, but this is a nice touch. And my only comment would be, these could easily get lost, but you actually have tourist tickets to the country of Sitmoyang on the far side of the globe. There are a few differences to the setting of the Troubleshooters and our own. Most notably, that the moon was reached in 1964 by a Franco-Japanese expedition using an atomic rocket, and there are lots of little islands and kingdoms and hidden kingdoms in Europe which we don't have, but are perfectly in keeping with the setting. They could exist. So inside, nice and clean. And then we get into the background about the mystery, and you've got a nice image of the repeated image front cover of the U-boat, and one of the aspects about scenarios for the Troubleshooters, and unfortunately there is only one scenario for the Troubleshooters so far, which is this one, is that every player character has plot hooks. So that might well be. So, for example, it says here, the Adventures uses the plot hook's media darling, arch enemy, the octopus. The octopus is the overarching villain group in the setting. So it's a little bit like, trying to think, Spectre, or in the James Bond canon, or Smirch to a certain extent. Also, and then I think it's particularly Scorpion, perhaps, or Tarot, I think, in the James Bond role-playing game, something like that. But here, you have these plot hooks: media darling, arch enemy, the octopus, do-gooder, and looking for a case. So you look for the characters amongst your group who have those plot hooks already built in, because it's part of character creation, and they get involved. And the other player characters kind of should go with them, and they should participate. So that's always a great hit, and it's essentially also, at least one character should have the diver ability, and it will help if someone has the dive master ability, and also fluent in German. Well, it does involve a U-boat. So, and here we go. Here's the index, basically the contents page itself. So you can see, just to showcase some of the artwork, how it captures that style of the bande dessinée comics, and I'm sure that they will be these pieces art will be used elsewhere in the book as well. You can automatically see that there, but when you go back to the plot hooks I was talking about just now, and you've got here here's how to use them, and that's a really nice touch, I think. And if they do more adventures, they'll continue doing that. It's a really nice way of pulling the characters in automatically, rather than you have the referee having to work at it. So, explanation of what happened, explains Paris in what it's like in Paris in 1965, and there's a full section of the city of Paris in 1965 in the core rulebook. And the great thing about the Troubleshooters is that it's very Eurocentric. There are lots of cities mentioned around the world, but it is very Eurocentric. And then we get into Get Going and Where the World is Père Mountain. And I've got a scene in a warehouse, so we're going to have to be sneaking in there, I'm sure. And then we've got clues such as, for example, the one that got away, Hitler's lost U-boat. One of those perennial sort of like mysteries, or lost mysteries at the end of World War II, which fits conspiracy theories, that sort of thing. Plenty of lost U-boats. Such that they even turn up in the Uncharted series of games. So again, it's not a lot of artwork, but it's really kind of big, bold, easy to read. And then what happens when the octopus strikes back? Too many limbs, too many tentacles, I would say. And then we switch over to the Big Apple. And what I like about that piece of artwork is the sense of, wow, you can see the character going, oh my god, everything is big, and it is. That's essentially how I felt when I was in New York, looking up at everything going. And then we have investigations in New York. And obviously this will be a different New York than you kind of imagine today, because it's the New York of the 60s. And then we've got thug life, and basically a nice scene of where some action takes place, complete with an apartment. And we get into Sitomayang, which is the small kingdom in Southeast Asia on an island chain. So and so that's the sort of like the final scene. Thing is basically where they do more investigation, clues in Sitomayang, looking for Pierre Mountain, and find out what he's been doing, and then then we get into basically we've got of course, because you know it's a U-boat adventure. You're going to need a vessel, so we've got a vessel there, which I've just given a complete description of. See if there's some nice deck plans of it. Curiously not, but anyway. And then at the end it says here, where in the world is Pierre Mountain Season 2? What next? Preparing the expedition. And then we go under the sea. You see that great artwork. And the other thing this kind of captures, essentially, with the U-boat mystery being under the water, is that sense of basically the subaquatic realms, of being under the sea, you know, wearing your aqualung and so on, and your flippers. It goes back to that sense of mystery, also of that world. You know, with dives by Jacques Cousteau, and of course you find the you do find the U-boat. And we've got deck plans of that. I would have liked better ones there, I have to admit. They're a bit plain, but nevertheless. So the bad guys turn up, and we've got the conclusion before we've got the threat files. So here we've got a list of allies, complete with illustrations. Oh, that's Pierre Martin himself. And then we've got extras like the Inspector Maurice Gauvard, a very Inspector Clouseau style figure. And then we have enemies in Paris, so Parisian enemies, New York enemies, and Saint-Ouen enemies, all there. But, for the game master use. I've got the appendix has got some more gear kits, essentially for doing the whole underwater thing. A fantastic illustration of a literate squid, and if it helps, we have an Octocryptex. Here's the device an octopus uses to pass messages back and forth. Quite important to get hold of one of those. You know, and then last we have a list of French names, just to add a bit of colour and name people, and then handouts so you've got startup handouts for the media darling looking for a case, do-gooder, an archer enemy, the octopus, and then various handouts for the rest of the game. These you really want to do in full colour, and basically separate them as PDFs, and you've got a chart also of the waters around where they're going to be searching for the lost U-boat, of course. And this is absolutely fantastic. And we've got better deck plans. I still would have liked. These are all right, I think, but they're not the easiest to use. They could have done with a bit more clarity. And there's a map of the port where they will sail from for the final search for that U-boat. So that's the U-boat mystery from published by, let's have a look, Helmgast AB. To go with its Troubleshooters role-playing game. I'm really looking forward to digging into this. I think it's going to be a fun scenario if you like that kind of 60s exciting action, positive in tone. That this really digs into it and gives you everything you need in a really exciting adventure. So anyway, thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. If you've enjoyed this, please do click the like button down below. If you've got any comments or feedback, I appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, where you will see me out here with a box and a book or game, which I will pull out and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea, then please do hit that subscribe button. Thanks again for watching. I'll be back again soon with another unboxing of the Nook. Bye for now.